Alright everybody, RMJ Movie Reviews back again, and I'm coming with an on-the-fly movie review of London Has Fallen, starring Gerald Butler and Aaron Eckhart and Morgan Freeman, and I guess you could say special appearance by Angela Bassett. Olympus Has Fallen, I was a little curious about when it came out. Goodness, how many years ago? Has it been 4 years since that movie came out? I can't remember, because I only saw the film once, and then like at a family reunion we took like a big trip on the bus, and I kind of was looking at it here and there, but whatever. But I was curious about the first film because it was directed by Antoine Fuqua. Gerald Butler, I'm kind of near or there with him, you know what I mean? I kind of, I like him in some movies, and then, there's other things where I just kind of go like, whatever, I didn't care for it. But, I'm just kind of just neutral on Gerald Butler as far as like how I view him as a performer. But as far as like when I see him in interviews and stuff, he seems like a pretty cool guy, outside of being an entertainer. But either way, I was curious about the film because I had seen a lot of reviews like Schmoes Know, and then I saw some other reviews on YouTube that was like, Olympus Has Fallen is old school, it's like a 80s or 90s action picture. So I went to go see it, and and I really liked the title. The title was like really cool, and it was kind of competing with what was that other one with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, White House Down, which I never saw that film and never wanted to. It just looked, I just didn't want to see it. So either way, I was like, okay. And I knew Antoine Fuqua leaned more towards like hard R style movies. That's just his style. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm with it. If it's along the lines of like Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, just The Rock, Cliffhanger, just those old school 80s and 90s action pictures with a hard, mean edge, Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was like, sign me up. So I went to go see Olympus Has Fallen. I'm just telling you this part of the story because this relates to London Has Fallen, because this is the first film. So either way, I saw Olympus Has Fallen, and I kind of was like, I just thought it was alright. You know what I mean? I mean, there were some people on the internet who was like, it was raw, it was da-da-da, and I just kind of went away from it feeling like it was okay. You know what I mean? I kind of thought the opening action sequence, here's the thing. In Olympus Has Fallen, there was a lot of, it followed the template of all those pictures, you know what I mean? A guy who has some kind of military, police specialty, whatever. He has some tragedy that befalls him earlier in the movie, so now he's trying to get himself together, and this terrorist attack is how he redeems his soul and rebonds with his buddy and all that kind of stuff, which is stuff we saw in Cliffhanger and stuff we saw in Lethal Weapon, and we've seen it in tons of action pictures from the 80s and the 90s. So whatever, I was like, okay, just whatever, I'm rolling with it. But like I said, I just thought the movie was alright. I appreciated the fact that it went old school with the violence. That it was a hard R. I really like that. Kind of my issue with Olympus Has Fallen is, I just felt like there were scenes like, for example, there's a scene where what's my man's name? I forget the actor. He was the bad guy in The Cowboy Way with Woody Harrelson. Why can I not remember the actor's name? He's done tons of stuff. He was on American Horror Story Season 1. And I know the guy with the dark hair. And I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. He was in the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood. He got killed by John Malkovich. Why can I not remember his name right now? I don't know why. But either way, there's like a fight scene between him and Gerald Butler, because he's like a turncoat in that movie. And it could have been really cool to last like 2 seconds. And I'm like, I don't know what it is with these action pictures now where they just don't, and this is the reason I love John Wick so much, is that they could just pull the camera back and you can just let the fight scene or the shootout just breathe. It does not have to be so damn quickly cut. It doesn't have to be short. It doesn't have to be super duper long, but just give me a chance to get into it, to feel the moves, enjoy the choreography, throw in a couple of nasty little moves. Well, I will appreciate Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen does that. Throw in a couple nasty moves, nasty technique. You kill the bad guy in a brutal way, and bam. I guess to me, my problem with Olympus Has Fallen was I didn't feel the action was diverse enough, and I felt kind of as soon as the action started, it ended, and I was just kind of like, what? But I mean, all in all, it was okay. You know what I mean? I just felt it was all right. All right, 5 minutes. Now we're gonna go on to London Has Fallen. I had absolutely zero expectations for this. I wasn't anticipating a sequel. When I heard they were making one, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous because I was like, I didn't even particularly think Olympus Has Fallen was popular enough to have a sequel. But I guess this is just a circumstance where they just said, we're just going to go ahead and make one anyway. So I was like, whatever, it's March, we're past January and February. So I'm like, okay, whatever, go check it out, hey, time killer, whatever, put it up on my YouTube channel. And because I had zero expectations, because let alone the title is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I think Olympus Has Fallen sounds cool. It's like Olympus Has Fallen. What is that? It sounds awesome, like epic. London Has Fallen just sounds just not good. I mean, quite frankly, I don't think it sounds too far from any 1990s direct-to-cable action movie that had Roddy Piper, or Billy Blanks, or Shannon Tweed, or Lorenzo Lamas, or Don the Dragon Wilson, or Jeff Speakman. I think London Has Fallen is pretty close to those kind of titles from that time. Black Belt, Future Kick, Ring of Fire, all that kind of stuff. The Expert, whatever. No Contest. But because my expectations were so absolutely low for this movie, and I pretty much didn't expect anything from it at all, I actually kind of had a better time with this one than I did with Olympus Has Fallen. I think because there was some, mediocre to good reviews for Olympus Has Fallen, my expectations got kind of high and I was disappointed by the movie. But with this one, I just had no expectations. So I actually had more fun with it than I did with the first one. Even though when I really compare the action sequences of the first film, because let's face it, these both movies are made for cool action. And in my particular opinion, I don't really think they fully deliver. Not to say that I'm taking anything away from, the choreography or the fact that the actors really put their physical conditioning to the test and all that, because I know this stuff takes all day to film. This is hard stuff to do, and safety and all of that. But I just feel that I don't know what it is. It's just like the action between the way it's cut. I will say the coolest action sequence in this movie, though, is I really like the action sequence where, like, they're driving in this car and these guys on the motorcycles are chasing them. I thought that was a really cool sequence. I really wish there could have been more sequences like that. You know what I mean? More stuff with cars, more adrenaline pumping. I mean, that's my thing. I don't feel a lot of these action pictures now are adrenaline pumping. Kind of The Bourne Supremacy, The Bourne Ultimatum, and I even say The Final Chase and The Bourne Legacy. I thought those got my adrenaline pumping. That was cool. John Wick obviously got my adrenaline pumping. Aside from kind of like the last action act where he fought the older guy, that was just kind of like, yeah. But John Wick got my adrenaline pumping. But they shot that movie old school. And, some of the action, obviously, the action in The Dark Knight with the truck and the bat bike, awesome. A little bit of the stuff in The Dark Knight Rises. Really more was adrenaline pumping was when Bruce escaping the pit. That was just awesome. Epic moment. But I didn't particularly think Olympus Has Fallen or London Has Fallen was an adrenaline pumping thrill ride. Not like those old school action movies from like the 80s or the 90s. But I will give them that chase scene where the motorbikes were coming after him. I was like, that was pretty badass. And there was two cool deaths in that scene. And I really like that they kept the cruelty of the deaths, you know, to keep it very 80s and 90s. But there's like a scene where like the guy jams the brake and the dude on the motorcycle flies through the back window and he's still alive, and Gerald Butler just looks at him and puts the gun to his head and blows his brains out. And I was like, badass. And there's like another scene where like the biker guy jumps into the window and Gerald Butler is driving the car, and the biker bad guy goes like, F you. And then Gerald Butler's like, oh really? F me? And he grabs the chin of his helmet, and there's like the divider under the freeway, and he just takes the guy and just like severs his body on the divider. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. That is like so 80s or 90s, just that cruel death moment you do to the bad guy. That was cool. Couple of knifings, but you know, they don't get diverse enough. It's just like knifing and knifing and knifing. It was okay. It was a decent time waster. You know, it's just really my big thing is I just don't feel a lot of these action pictures are adrenaline pumping, and I feel like the action it just doesn't have time to breathe, man. Like when you watch the original Die Hard or even Die Hard 2, there's like you get to feel John McClane as he's running from the bad guys. He runs from here, he runs through there. You really feel the geography of the place. You know, you just have a chance to get into the chase, and it's just an easy. They're so quickly cut, and it's just so bam, 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 bam that I can't even feel what I'm watching. I can't even really follow it, you know. But it was mildly adrenaline pumping. I would agree with a lot of people that it is a step down from Olympus Has Fallen, but the reason I had more fun with it was because, like I said, I had no expectations. So all in all, I'd say check it out at a matinee. If a dollar movie still exists, which I'm not sure if it does, go see it at the dollar movie, you know, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. But it was okay. Don't expect much. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd honestly, sincerely probably give it a 5 out of 10. You know, the first one I'd probably give it a little bit more. First one I'd probably give like a 6.5 out of 10. You know, I'm not big fans of either movie, but I enjoyed this one a little bit more. So, thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. And leave comments down below about, you know, the directing, the action in London Has Fallen. And just leave comments about London Has Fallen. Sorry, guys. My energy is, like, down because I'm, like, tired. And, I just need to go home and go sleep. So either way, RMJ Movie Reviews. I'm gonna be back with another movie review. I think I'm gonna be doing some just old school gross out comedies from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. So stay tuned. RMJ Movie Reviews. I'll see you soon.